Some people take football for granted. Some people just play just to play it. Me, I like to take everything outside of football and I like to just bring it to the field. And one of the best things about it is you can legally hit somebody.
Handgun on person, possession of a firearm by a minor, use of an assault weapon, use of a firearm, attempted first-degree murder, reckless endangerment, and first-degree assault.
8 charges, and one of them was attempted murder. The boy behind it all was just 18, sitting on a free ride to one of the biggest football schools in the country. So how does a kid with the whole world in his hands throw it away over a girl? Let me put you on to who these 2 young men were, because once you understand that, the rest of this hits even harder. Luke Hill was 18 years old and one of the best young football players coming out of Maryland. He had the kind of talent that had big schools all over the country watching his every move, and everybody around him believed he was headed straight to the top. His whole future was already laid out in front of him, and all he really had to do was not mess it up. Then there is the other young man in this story, a kid named Ishmael Leggett. He was a hooper, a 6'2" guard out of St. John's College High School in Washington, D.C., who had signed to play basketball at the University of Rhode Island. So you had 2 young athletes from the same area, both of them with bright futures, both about to head off to college and chase that same dream of going pro one day. And here's the part that makes this whole thing feel so small and so sad. These 2 were not strangers who bumped into each other on some random bad night. Luke Hill and Ishmael Leggett used to be classmates at St. John's before Hill moved on to a different school. They came up around the same people, knew each other's faces, and ran in the same little world. So what turns one talented kid against another one he already knew? Same thing it always is, a girl. See, before any of this blew up, Luke had a girlfriend. They were together for a while, and then the relationship ended, the way a whole lot of young love stories tend to end. She moved on with her life, which is exactly what she had every right to do. But Luke just could not handle it, and the thing that really set him off was who she moved on with, because the new man in her life was Ishmael Leggett, the same dude Luke knew from school, with his own scholarship and his bright future sitting right there in front of him. Now picture being 18 years old with everybody in your ear telling you that you are special and are about to be a star, and then you pick up your phone and see the girl you used to call yours smiling next to somebody from your own circle. For most people that stings for a minute and then life keeps right on moving. But for Luke Hill, his pride couldn't take it. That jealousy started growing into something a whole lot more dangerous, the kind of feeling that doesn't stay in your chest and doesn't stay on the screen. Because the next move Luke made was not a sad text or a late-night call trying to win her back. What he did next is the reason we're even talking about him today. It's the reason 8 charges ended up next to his name, and the reason a kid who had the whole world in his hand ended up sitting in a jail cell with no way out. And believe it or not, it all started with one phone call. Before a single shot was ever fired, Luke got on the phone. The court papers say he called Leggett's girlfriend, who was his own ex, and was threatening her about her current relationship. That phone call alone tells you his mind was already in a dark place long before that night, and it tells you that what came next was not some random accident that fell out of the sky. So here's how that night went down, and I need you to really feel just how reckless this was. It was a regular evening, somewhere around 7:30 at night. Ishmael Leggett was outside playing basketball near his home in Accocoke, Maryland. In his own words to the police, Ishmael was out there when he looked up and saw the suspect in a white older vehicle with tint start shooting at him. Luke Hill pulled out a gun and fired it several times at another human being, a kid he grew up around, all over a girl who was free to date whoever she wanted. And it wasn't only Ishmael in danger that night, his own mother was right there too. She told police she was pulling into her driveway when she heard the shots going off. A mother coming home from her day, rolling up to gunfire aimed at her son. The bullets ended up hitting the house instead of hitting anybody, and that's the only reason this isn't a story about a funeral. A few inches and a little bit of luck, that's all that stood between Luke Hill being a kid in trouble and Luke Hill being a killer. Now, a lot of people in his shoes might think they got away clean, because Luke drove off into the night like nothing ever happened. But this is 2020, and there are cameras everywhere you go these days. As he pulled away from the scene, a neighbor's security camera caught his car leaving. That one little detail turned his clean getaway into a trail that led right back to his own front door. And the police followed that trail fast. Luke was arrested the very next day, and when investigators went and searched his home, what they found made everything worse for him. Inside his bedroom closet, police pulled out 3 guns he had hidden away. Not one gun, 3 of them, hidden in the closet of a kid who was 18 years old and wasn't even old enough to legally own them. And the piece that really locked it all in was the match, because the gun found in his bedroom was the same caliber as the shell casing left behind at the scene of the shooting. And this is right where it really starts to sink in just how much this young man tossed in the trash. Because Luke Hill was not some nobody off the block. This kid was a 4-star cornerback, ranked around number 151 in the whole country, and the number 12 corner in his entire recruiting class. In his senior year, he grabbed 7 interceptions and broke up 8 more passes, the kind of numbers that get a teenager's phone ringing day and night. And his phone was ringing non-stop. We're talking about scholarship offers from Alabama, Clemson, Florida, Michigan, Nebraska, Oklahoma, Penn State, and Virginia Tech. Basically a list of the biggest football schools in America, all of them fighting to hand this boy a free education and a clear road to the NFL. And out of all of them, he picked the Oregon Ducks. And back then, he talked about it like he had finally found a home. He said the thing that pulled him in was the good vibe, that it was such a positive place where he got along with everybody, and it felt comfortable instead of stressful. He signed his name with Oregon that December, locked in, dream secured. So this was a young man who, on paper, had already won at life before it even really got started, and he lit every bit of it on fire over a girl who simply chose to move on without him. Let me lay out exactly what Luke Hill was facing after that night, because the list of charges tells the whole story all by itself. He got hit with 8 separate counts: attempted loaded handgun on a person, handgun on a person, possession of a firearm by a minor, use of an assault weapon, use of a firearm, attempted first-degree murder, reckless endangerment, and first-degree assault. One of the analysts breaking the case down made a real good point about why one single shooting turned into such a tall stack of charges, pointing out that Maryland is one of the toughest states in the whole country when it comes to guns.
He said the gun charges aren't surprising in Maryland. They're one of the hardest states on gun control. They've been known to twist a lot of things on any charges regarding firearms, so the university could have very well waited to see if it was true or not. That would make sense.
So you had one young man, one bad night, and all of a sudden he is buried under attempted murder with 7 more counts stacked on top. The same teenager who had Alabama and Clemson blowing up his phone was now just a name on an arrest record, sitting in Prince George's County Jail with no bond. And the football, the dream, that free ride to Oregon he was so proud of, gone. But here is the cold twist on top of it all. By the time the news of the shooting even broke, Oregon had quietly cut ties with him already. Months before any of this happened, the program had already pulled away from him. Listen to how the head coach put it.
He was informed earlier this spring that he would not be a member of our program.
On top of that, people close to it later said Luke never even applied to get into Oregon in the first place. So the dream he used to brag about was already slipping out of his hands, and instead of dusting himself off and finding a new road like a normal person would, he picked up a gun and tried to take somebody else's future down right along with his own. Now here's the part that should really sit with you, because life has a funny way of showing you exactly what you tried to destroy. Remember Ishmael Leggett, the kid who was just trying to play ball when those bullets came flying? He did not let that night break him. He went on to play 3 full seasons at Rhode Island, then moved over to Pittsburgh, where he was named the ACC Sixth Man of the Year and piled up more than 1,800 points over his college career. By the spring of 2025, he had put his name in for the NBA draft, chasing the same league he always dreamed about. The same young man Luke Hill tried to wipe off this earth ended up one step away from being a professional ball player. And Luke Hill? Years after that night, his name quietly popped back up, this time on the Morgan State football roster, listed as a cornerback out of Temple Hills. Somehow he found his way back onto a field, but the kid who once had every big program in America calling his phone went from the edge of the big time all the way down to fighting for a spot at a small school, and that whole fall is on nobody but himself. And real talk, when you really sit and think about it, Luke Hill is one of the lucky ones because his bullets hit a wall instead of a body. A whole lot of these stories do not end with everybody walking away. Take what happened with a young man named William Riley Gall, another 18-year-old athlete, a freshman receiver at Maryville College in Tennessee, who couldn't handle his girlfriend breaking up with him either. Her name was Emma Walker, a 16-year-old high school cheerleader, and after she ended things, Gall got obsessed and possessive. One night in November of 2016, he drove to her house and fired a gun straight through her bedroom wall while she was sleeping, and the shots killed her. Same age, same jealousy, same gun pointed at a home over a relationship that was already finished. The only difference is that Gall did not miss. And the price he paid says everything you need to know. A jury found him guilty of first-degree murder, and they handed him a life sentence with no shot at parole for 51 years. His football, his freedom, his whole life, all of it gone. All because he could not accept being told no.
Sentencing hearing, no additional years added to Riley Gall's life sentence. Gall, as you may well know, is the former college football player convicted in the murder of Central High School cheerleader Emma Walker.
WAT 6 on your side reporter Madison Keevy has been following this trial since day one. She joins us now here in the studio with more on what happened today. Madison.
Well, today we heard 2 sides. The state asking for the court for a consecutive sentence, and the defense asking for a concurrent one to be served after the life sentence. The other served at the same time.
We are at risk. If he were to get out of jail,
The state's final argument to Judge Bob McGee.
keep him where he belongs. He doesn't need any opportunity to ever get out of prison.
Assistant District Attorney Molly Martin asking the court for the counts to run consecutive to Riley Gall's life sentence, describing Gall as a dangerous offender for shooting and killing Emma Walker. He shot through her bedroom wall while she slept.
Their assertions and their very aggressive posture in this, in my opinion, Your Honor, is, and in Mr. Gall's opinion, is to get this court, quite frankly, to hate Mr. Gall.
Gall's attorney, Wesley Stone, asking the court for a concurrent sentencing, that Gall wasn't a threat to society, even going as far to reread Gall's apology statement.
I'm sorry. I would also like to apologize to my family for the pain and embarrassment I put you through. I love
Dressed in purple for crime victims' rights, Emma Walker's family together in court yet again, her name and initials shown proudly.
The emotional aspect he put these people through is just as bad as the physical, if not worse.
Well, Well, since this tragedy, so many in our community rallied around Emma Walker's family and her legacy. The Emma Walker Memorial Scholarship Fund started in December 2016. A silent auction fundraiser is planned for November 30th to raise money for the scholarship for students wanting to work in healthcare.
That right there is the line Luke Hill was standing on that night without even knowing it. The difference between being a kid who got a second chance and being a man who dies behind bars came down to a few inches and a little bit of luck. Two young athletes with the whole world in front of them, and both of them were ready to throw it all away because somebody they used to love picked somebody else. Jealousy and pride will take everything from you if you let them. Luke Hill was holding a golden ticket, and he set it on fire over a girl who had every right to move on. The scariest part is how fast it can happen, and how many young men out here are just one bad decision away from learning that the hard way. Do you think Luke deserves this redemption that he got? Let me know in the comments section.
Yet another timeout, another superstar, Luke Hill, coming off a championship, St. John's WCAC. Y'all did the daggone thing, correct? Plan on doing it again? All right. Luke, tell us a little bit about you. Let me get height, weight, and your position.
I'm a cornerback, weigh 180, 5'11", 6'4".
Cornerback. Now tell me, who do you model your game after? There's a lot of them out there. Let's go NFL.
Joe Hayden.
Joe Hayden, all right. What makes Hayden great?
He locked down corner. Not a lot of passes complete on his side.
All right. Same with you?
Yes.
All right, how do you perfect that skill of corner?
I just work with my DB coach, Coach Cox, work with him every day. Get better and better each day.
Get better and better each day. All right. As far as interest offers, what's going on with colleges?
I take a visit next month, early June, to Clemson and Alabama on June 1st. Alabama June 1st, Clemson shortly after, maybe Oklahoma in July.
Other than that, getting ready for the season?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Luke Hill, St. John's Cadets looking to repeat yet again. WCAC will look out for him. I'm Monet Anderson. That's Luke. We'll catch you the next time.
Here at the Capital Hoops Summer League at the Mather with St. John's guard Ismail Leggett. This big game for you, 14 points, only 3 field goal attempts. Not too often we talk to someone who had 3 field goal attempts, but you were very productive, very efficient. Talk about that comeback win against Roosevelt.
We just had to start playing our game, start being unselfish, and just play St. John's basketball. I feel like our hustle really got us back into the game, and once we got into the game, we finished it out with our hustle as well.
As defending Summer League champions, you guys obviously packed gyms.
Right.
Big game against Roosevelt, obviously two of the top teams in Summer League. Talk about the matchup of you guys and Roosevelt.
Each game for us is going to be a big game. We know we have targets on our shoulders, and each game, like this game, is going to be a Super Bowl for the other team since we're the defending champs. So I just feel like we have to bring our A game every time we step on the floor.
As a junior coming in this year, obviously there's going to be some added responsibility on your shoulders. A couple of seniors departed. Talk about your role on the team from a leadership perspective and kind of a production standpoint.
Well, this year I have to step up in a big leadership role. I'm probably going to be playing point guard, so with that comes a lot of responsibility. I'm the general on the floor. I have to tell people where to be, and off the floor I have to lead by example as well. So this year is going to be a huge leadership role for me.
You're slugging 14 points, 5 boards, 2 assists, 2 steals, 2 blocks. Did it all tonight. Appreciate the time. We'll see you soon.
Thank you.
Click on one of the cards on your screen to see more videos like this. See you in the next one.